speak the mic. Hello, everybody. See this contraption in front of me? That's how we're doing this. I have an arm. I showed this on stream. I built this thing on stream. But yeah, basically my phone is on that. Good. Good lord. That is warm. That's worryingly warm. I feel like I need a new phone. I know I need a new phone. In fact, I think the contract on this phone runs out in a little bit, so I'll have to set all this up with a different phone in the future. So, the first thing. Hi. Been a while. I was actually going to start the stream about 10 minutes ago, but my internet decided to not. It was like, It's like, oh, we're doing this again? Oh, okay. I'm actually just going to turn ring light off. Just for the moment. There you go. There you go. That looks a bit better. Just until we actually move over to the painting. I'll also actually look at the webcam. Hi. It's weird. I got two of me. Because I've got my Streamlabs on that screen. And I got the actual Twitch on that screen. So I don't know where to look. Don't know where to look. Oh well. Yeah, so basically, where have I been these last 4 weeks? I think it's been at least 3 weeks since the last stream. Also, the fan is going, if you guys can hear that. I've got my fan going because it is currently 23 degrees outside. This is the coolest it's been all week. We had a little bit of rain this morning, which thankfully broke it a little bit, but it's still ridiculously hot, especially sitting in here with the ring light and the computer and everything. There's also a single strand of hair there. It's really annoying me. Let's tuck that in under the headphones. Headphones double as a hairband at the moment. I've also not had a haircut this month, as you can see, or a shave. So I need to do that. Probably do that at some point, either later this week or next week. Probably next week. But basically, long and short of it is, for those who don't know, I have a lingering back injury from a few years ago. From 2019 I did it. I know that because I didn't go to work for about 3 summers in a row. I did it in April 2019. I was off until like June 2019. And then the following year, well, the year before that, I was on holiday for all of April and May. I used up all of my holiday for all of that because I was like, I can't be fucking bothered anymore. 2019 is when I injured myself and that off. And then Notdom! Hello! Thank you very much for the follow. Thank you very much for the follow. I've just been explaining where I've been for the last 4 months. I've been doing well. I'm doing better than I have been for the last month. I say 4 months. It's not been that long. 4 weeks. Basically, I've been on bed rest for the last 4 weeks. Because I fucked my back up. Woo! I have a... What I was saying was I have a lingering back injury from about 4 years ago. And I re-aggravated it at work because I work in a DIY store, and which is useful for discount on Warhammer shit, but it's not very good for the back. And after 6 months of doing that, my back finally gave out, and yeah, so I've been on bed rest for the last 4 or 5 weeks now, which is why I haven't been doing streams, because I literally couldn't sit in this chair for longer than an hour. Oh, it's been fun. It has been fun. It's still a little bit so that's why we're doing this today. Also, I don't normally stream on Sundays. As you can see on my schedule down below, I don't do streams on Sundays because I'm normally with the girlfriend. But I'm not going to be doing a stream on Thursday this week because it's my mum's birthday. So me and girlfriend are spending Thursday with my mum instead. But I have been meaning to do this stream for a while. Yes, this has been a long time in the making, this stream. I have done a lot of research into different bits of kit. I decided on this thing. So this is the first stream where we're actually going to be using it. I've had it for about 2 months. Oh well. So we're going to be doing painting some Middle-earth strategy battle game minis because I have a book. Me and the girlfriend, I got into strategy battle game last year when I was off of COVID. I've been wanting to play it for many years. It was what got me first interested in Warhammer, which is what led to me getting into D&D. I've told the story on this channel many times. But I have this now. I've splurged a little bit on Middle-earth strategy battle game stuff over the last few months. Basically, I got COVID in October, and I started looking at 3D printing stuff and like building terrain stuff for D&D, which then led me to Zorpazorp's YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, go check him out. He does very, very, very entertaining board builds and stuff like that. I've never built a board. Built first actual bit of wargaming terrain a couple of weeks ago with the girlfriend. Built a hobbit house. It didn't go well. She took it home to fix it up, and yeah, she was like, "Yeah, this is not good. I'm just gonna bid this. I just build it myself." And she's built a very, very, very good one. It's very, very, very good. The hair is doing me head in. I need a haircut. I do need a haircut, definitely. But yeah, so I have this book, and basically this book, Chris and Ringbearer, combined with 2 other books that are out there, Golden War and War of Rohan. Across those 3 books, the narrative campaigns in them cover everything that Frodo and the Fellowship go through from the Shire up to Mount Doom, and then there's also the Scaran the Shire book, if you want, and there's also Defenders of the North, or Defense of the North, I think, if you want to do book stuff. I probably will get Scaran the Shire, and we'll probably do that as well. But basically, she is handling all of the scenery stuff. I'm doing the minis, because I like minis. I like doing minis. She likes building scenery, so that works. And then I'm just going to be playing that. I'm not going to be streaming the games, because 2 reasons. Number 1, there is absolutely no set days that we're going to be doing them. It'll just be whenever the fuck. I will be posting pictures and stuff like that on the Instagram and the Discord and the TikTok when we do them, but it won't be like record the whole battle and put it on YouTube. The other reason is simply because I don't know how I would do that outside of like getting a GoPro and doing it like that. I could film it on the phone, I suppose, but as you guys will see, the phone camera probably won't be good enough for that. The only other thing I could think of doing would be doing it on the laptop and like unplugging the webcam from here and like holding the webcam using that as a GoPro. But fuck that. That sounds like way too much work. So no. I might do something like that in the future. Plus, you know, I'd have to see if she would be down for doing that. Heard of D&D, never played nor understand, however it is interesting. It's good. It's good fun. I will say, if you're interested in D&D and want to give it a go, either Roll20 or Discord, or, well, Roll20 or Facebook, or whatever social media is a thing at the moment. There's plenty of groups posting all the time looking for players on there. Or another way of doing it is Baldur's Gate 3, which has just come out of early access. It's been in early access since 2020. Yeah, it was 2020 because I built the computer for it. Came out in early access 2020. It's just come out in full release last month. Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. I'm streaming it at the moment. That will be next week? No, 2 weeks from now will be the next Baldur's Gate 3 stream. It probably was supposed to be this week, but obviously pushed back. But it's very good. It's very good. Baldur's Gate 3 is amazing. But as I said, if you actually want to play it, check Roll20. There's always people looking for players on Roll20, because people want players, and it's a very nice community, he says. It's one of those communities where it's like, for the most part, it's nice, but there's a very vocal minority who are like, everything you do is wrong. They very much come out of the woodwork. Saw people streaming it with character throwing a monster off the cliff. That does happen. That does happen. That's one of the more tame things that can happen. I'd say in terms of streamers to check out, Critical Role. Critical Role is very entertaining, which everybody says. There's a few others out there. Arcane Arcade is a good one. And others, I'm sure plenty of the other YouTubers that I follow in the community do it. I just don't have time to watch all those different live plays because I have work. I used to have time for all that stuff back in. That was like the only good thing about COVID. I had plenty of time for D&D and other shit. Anyway, so basically, what this is I'm going to be painting all of the minis that we need for this and more Rohan and Gondor War on the stream. I have a few already painted up, but I have alternate sculpts of them. Like I have a painted Theoden from Permanent Fields box, but I have the metal one from Defenders of Helm's Deep that they did in a Made to Order last year. I have a fully painted Fellowship, but I have metal ones, like the original metal sculpts. I have them on their way, which I found on eBay. Hopefully they come tomorrow. If they come tomorrow, then I will do a stream painting them up on Tuesday, specifically Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin, because we don't need any of the others until about halfway through this book. except for Aragorn. I have Nazgul ready to go. I just need to prime them. And then I think that's it in terms of minis I already own. That will be used outside of like ones for Raw and Rohan and Gondor at War, like the ones from the Osgiliath box set, which came out at Christmas, and Éomer and Éowyn. Yeah. But yeah, today, so I will show you the scenario that we're going to be doing, and I will also show you. So here we go. Is camera angle. Ignore the watermark. The watermark is there because I haven't paid for Elgato camera thing, whatever the fuck it's called. Where it's like you can use your phone as a camera. I haven't paid for that because it's ridiculously expensive, and the options that it gives you are not really worth it from what I can tell. Also, this is just a temporary measure until I get another camera, essentially. So, I will turn my ring light on. There we go, so we can actually see what we're doing. So, this scenario that we are doing, the first scenario we do, if I can find it, there we go, it's where the bookmark is, because of course it is. That is very tempting. I'm trying to not dunk it in the water. That's the thing I'm trying to do. I'm trying not to knock the water. That's not worked at all, has it? Nope. Oh well. But yeah, Farmer Maggot's crop. So, minis we need are what it says is on the tin, really. I'm just going to put the book back because I don't need that anymore. Boop. Alright. I have all the paint I need, don't I? Yes! Question mark. For now. I have all the paint I need for now. I just realised you guys can't actually see my hands when I'm doing stuff. Can you guys hear me alright? Looks like you can. Might be a bit loud, but oh well. Oh well. Ooh, actually, you know what we will do? Why don't we get some music going? Unfortunately, my original idea of let's put some we'll just play Lord of the Rings music. That won't work, will it? Because well, it's not very copyright friendly, is it? Right, let's just find some music and then I'll get started. So, royalty free fantasy music. Probably end up using a lot of Kevin MacLeod. We want some relaxing fantasy music, actually. Yeah, if we could use it, we'd just have the Shire theme playing on repeat. How is... I know this music! Oh, I have used this music in a lot of D&D campaigns. Alright, we'll just lower the music volume a little bit. There we go. Okay. Yeah, you guys can still hear that, but it's not overpowering, so that's Perfect, that's what we want. Just turn it up a tiny bit. There we go. Alright. I do also have the old magazines as well that they used to do for the Love Strategy Barrel game. I don't have a physical copy of the Farmer Maggot one, but I do have a PDF. Issue is, I can't really see it very well, but that's fine because we can just click and drag it over there. Right. So, there's lots of greys and browns on Maggot himself, and the doggos, it's like blacks and browns again, which is the colours that I have here. Because, well, we'll work it out. We'll work it out. We'll have a look at the mini, and then we'll work out colours. Okay. So, here we have Farmer Maggot himself. It's weird because... Okay. No, fair enough. So, we have Farmer Maggot himself here. It's a very nice sculpt. I haven't actually worked with metal on a mini for a while. Like, we're talking like over 10 years ago. Like, maybe 15 years since I painted a metal mini. And that was that was an old Chief Librarian Tiberius sculpt from back in the day. I don't have that many anymore. And to be honest, I can guarantee this paint scheme will end up looking a lot better than that one did. Because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing back then. I didn't even prime my minis back then. So, again, if we run into any technical issues, then we'll do some tier lists. I do have some tier lists ready to go because dry time. So basically, once we run out, or once we do the base coats, and while we wait for them to dry, we'll do some. Oh, this isn't very relaxing. No. I don't want the dark, foreboding stuff. I want relaxing music. Relaxing music is what we want. Oh, there's 3 hours worth of tavern/inn music. There we go. This won't take 3 hours to do. There we go. That's a bit better, ain't it? Alright. So, as I was saying, yeah. I'm not going to do the whole mini on the stream because basically I'm going to do base coat and shading, and then we'll move over to the tier list, and I'll either finish the stream or might do a few quick highlights afterwards. It depends how long they dry. I also don't have a paint handle because the paint handle, the actual proper paint handle that I have, which is the Games Workshop paint handle, I actually use the box for that, to hold my brushes. I actually need some new brushes as well. Right. I'm gonna rant before we paint. We will start painting eventually, I promise. I should probably just do this rant while I paint, actually. I'll do that. Right, okay. So. Farmer Maggot. Farmer Maggoty Maggot. Right, so we want a lot. So, again. Focus. Thank you. Right. So, we want a lot of greys and browns, really. on this guy. I haven't fully decided what colour to do his undershirt. Looking at him. So we got the actual tunic, we got a belt, we got a shirt. That's part of the tunic, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, he's got like a little shoulder thing. A little shoulder pad. And then the tunic. And he's got a little undershirt there. And he's got an elf's skin. Yeah. Got a bit of metal on the actual scythe. It's a very good mini. Considering now it's 20 years old, this mini. Like, yeah. Because this came from eBay, it came with the... Oh wait, no, this isn't the original base, is it? No, this is a base that I took from the... from just the old Space Marine I had. Oh yeah, because this isn't the slip case. No, yeah, because the slip case that he came with, the slip base, sorry, not case, the slot base, which you can see the dogs went in, no problem. Still from 2003 though. So, no, there's a little bit of blue tack. Still no. I hate these bases. I really hate these bases. That blue tack is from Priming because I basically just blue tack them. I have a very, very, very good way of holding my minis when I'm priming in batch. I have these long ass planks of wood that I stole from the wood bin at work, and I just blue tack them onto that. That's how I do it. I work in a DIY shop. Like, I nick so much stuff out of the bin at work. It's literally just offcuts, like offcuts from the fucking timber saw. So, but basically, yeah. So that's why there's that, and that's just the blue tack that I couldn't get out. But it doesn't really matter. To be fair, they're not that bad for it. I've had some that were really bad for the blue tack that's left. But basically, Maggot, he didn't fit. He didn't fit in the slot, like the actual strip of metal that he was sat on. Didn't fit in the slot for it. And rather than spend ages trying to shear bits of metal off bit by bit until it fit, I just had a spare solid base. So I just snipped him off and just glued him directly on. And to be honest, I kind of wish I had more of these. Because I fucking hate these. Not the dogs. Not the dogs. I like the dogs. But no, like, for 20 years, considering they're 20 years old. Oh, that makes me feel bad. I don't like that. I don't like that these minis are 20 years old. I remember these minis coming out. You know, they're very good minis. Especially when you consider the fact that it's Farmer Maggot. Like, film-wise, who gives a fuck about Farmer Maggot? In the books, Farmer Maggot's amazing. In terms of film, Farmer Maggot is one of the few things that the films did wrong. There's a lot of changes in the films compared to the books. Some I like. Some... Like, actually making Arwen an actual character and having her show up at the point where Glorfindel is supposed to in the book. I prefer that. I much prefer that. Like, having Glorfindel show up is cool because it's like well built, especially if you've read the Silmarillion. I'm actually just going to close my windows because there's a single stream of light that's coming in through the window. that you can see there, and it's directly underneath the camera, and it's very annoying. Oh, I barely ever close these curtains. Right, that should be a bit better. There we go. If we turn the... There we go. Just a little bit extra light. But yeah, as I was saying, having Glorfindel, having Arwen show up instead of Glorfindel, you know, having a character who's actually somewhat relevant instead of a character who's like cool for, you know, world and lore and stuff like that, show up and then just disappear for the rest of the fucking book. I prefer the change where Arwen shows up. I get why they cut the scale in the Shire. Have Saruman die in Isengard. Oh yeah, spoilers for Lord of the Rings, by the way. I can't really think of many other major changes that they did in Lord of the Rings. Most of them were saved for The Hobbit. Oh, I've also just noticed a thing. I never put any of the widgets on this overlay. I will very quickly do that. Let's very quickly add all of my widgets. Also, I don't have the webcam on this one. I considered putting the webcam on, but when I set it all up, I realised, ring light is directly in front of the webcam, and I can't really move it out the way. Plus, it doesn't really matter. Right. Am I missing any widgets? Shoutout clips, even emote wall. Where has the emote wall gone? I had the important one. I remembered to put the mic on it. One step ahead this time, because I normally forget that one. I promise we will actually get to painting very soon. Yeah, it's only taken 30 minutes before we actually put any paint in the pot. I don't know, I'm just enjoying chatting about Lord of the Rings. Plus, you know, it's been a while. I gotta do a little bit of a catch up. Anyway, so painting. Yes, let's put some paint on these minis. Let's put some paint on this guy. So I've got my paints here. I use Army Painter paints. I've heard a lot of good stuff about Vallejo. I don't use Citadel paints because they are overpriced to fuck, and I do not like the pots. That is why. The only thing I buy from Games Workshop now is the minis and the occasional technical paint if I feel like it. But I very rarely feel like that. So, in terms of these aren't speed paints either. These are the regular paints. These are actually, for the most part, the D&D brand ones, which are just regular Army Painter colours, just with D&D names, because these are the ones I own. I have replaced a couple of them. I actually need to replace a few more. I've been using these for the last I started painting in February last year was the first mini I painted, like March, February time. was the first mini I painted in recent memory. Basically, a girlfriend got me a bunch of them, one of the D&D boxes for Valentine's Day, and sent me down the long slippery slope that's ended with this. I need to replace the wash that we're going to be using, which is this brown wash. I really like this wash. I need to replace this. It's running quite low because I use this quite a bit. Like that one, the flesh wash that I'm going to be using, and my dark wash are the ones I use the most in terms of washes. I've got my black. This is the only other one that I'm going to be using that isn't the D&D branded one, because I use this on every mini. So this pot, the little matte black pot, I don't think has run out, but it's definitely getting close. But it's literally just this. It's just this. It's just called Abyssal Black. Right. Okay. So I need my brush. Where is my little? That's my little fine detail brush. Where is my? Not you. Because that brush is dead. Where are you? Ah, that's not you. Where the bloody hell? It's the brush I like to use. There it is. It is. Like, it's pretty done. Like, I use this brush on every single mini. Again, it's kind of dead, but it's got a couple minis left in it, and then it will become the basing brush, the PVA glue, because that's what you do. But I like this brush. I really like this brush. This is actually Army Painter as well. This brush. This is from the D&D brush pack. It's the best brush in that pack. It's just a simple base coat brush, but it works really well, especially for Games Workshop minis. Again, haven't tried these paints on metal minis before, because the last metal mini I painted was 20 fucking years ago. Well, it wasn't 20 years ago. More or less. But not quite. It was like 15 years ago. It would have been when I was like 13, 14, so about 15, 14 years ago. Right, okay, so do I want him to wear a grey tunic or a brown tunic? Because if we do it with a brown, it's going to be a very brown mini. His hair's going to be like sandy brown, which is going to be this colour. It's very nice. Well, we're going to try this colour. I haven't actually used this colour before, I don't think. So we're going to give this one a go. See how that looks for his hair. His scythe is going to be brown. I guess we could just do his skin, get his skin done, and work from there. That's maybe the best shout. Yeah. We'll do the skin, because then we've actually got paint on the mini, and we can work from that. Also, I don't do the eyes. I do not do eyes on my minis, because I tried doing the eyes on a mini and it did not work. I tried doing it on Luke Skywalker from the Star Wars Legion starter set, because I knew I probably wouldn't be using that Luke for very long. because I prefer Return of the Jedi Luke with the black outfit as opposed to him in his like it's him at Bespin. It's him when he goes to Bespin and fights Vader there. Is what that mini is supposed to be. So it's him in the grey outfit. Which, yeah, it's fine if that was the only... I mean, if it was the only Luke mini we got, I'd be annoyed. I mean, the only Han Solo that mini that we've gotten for Legion so far is him on Endor. In the coat that he wears for all of 2 seams. So you try and find any bit of Return of the Jedi where he's actually wearing that coat. So I could find a bit to have any idea of what I was doing for it. Like pain in the butt. So I tried doing the eyes on the Luke, just so that I could give it a go. And it didn't work. And to be honest, you don't need them. Doing the eyes is good if you're going to have them on display. Or only on display. For the most part. Or if you're doing like an actual painting tournament and you want like really close-up shots. But for the most part, they're like that. And it's like, looking at them from my point of view, even now, sat down, I can't fucking see his eyes. You guys sure as hell can't, because you got a bird's eye view. But it's like, I can't see his eyes. But I can just about see where they're supposed to be. And the shading will pick, and the wash will pick that out. So that's what we do. We just colour the entire face pink. Be a bit careful not to get any on his scythe, but if we do, it doesn't matter because we're going to be painting it anyway because it's paint. Like, you guys can just about see where his eyes are supposed to go. It's like that. I guarantee, I can tell you now, when the wash is applied to it, it'll look fine. I could go grab and actually paint in model and demonstrate what I mean. Again, just being careful not to get too much on. We don't want to drown out all that very, very, very nice detail that the metal gives us. There we go. Just do his feet real quick. Which again we'll be going over later with the Otiok brown for his little fur on his feet. But if we get the hair, we will get the hair with the pink. Like, there's absolutely no way we're painting the feet without getting a little bit of pink on his little fur tufts. That is just inevitable. But you can tell by looking at the brush that its time has come. I've also just noticed that it's annoying because it's like when I'm doing it on under the camera, it's all in shadows. I just want it a bit. Like my brain is telling me to hold it a bit closer to me, which means that you guys can't actually see it. This will be a lot easier once I replace the phone with an actual camera. Right. So that is his skin. Or at least the first layer for the skin all done. I mean, Maggot isn't the one I foresee being a potential real problem. He's not going to take very long at all. It's mostly the dogs. Now, the dogs. The hounds. I don't really have... The one thing... Browns. I'm not a big lover of many of the shades of brown that I've got. If I'm being completely 100% honest. Not that one. It's a very dark brown. Oh, I've got that one, which is even darker brown. This one we are using for Maggot for his belt. Well, there's this one, which is slightly lighter brown. What I might do is just use the 3 different shades of brown that I've got. So I got Bugbear Brown, just a little bit lighter. I've got Owlbear Brown, which is my dark one. That isn't Rigid Leather, which is very dark. And I got Minotaur Hide, which is a slightly lighter brown. So I might try Minotaur Hide first, see how it looks. I've tried this on a couple minis and I've never been a particular fan of how it looks. But we'll give it a go on the doggies. You never know, it might look better on the pups. But I've tried this for like furs and stuff on D&D minis. It's never quite looked right. That might actually be what we were looking for. I'll try it on this little fella. Get it mixed properly. That might look okay. I'm glad I'm not using speed paint on these ones, because the dogs especially are very flat minis. I think this will work for a base, at the very least. And put some black on the noses. Some. Ooh, I will need a pink. The inside of his mouth. I don't have a pink. I do have a pink, I just don't have a pink with me. But I can go grab one. I'll work up in different shades of this brown. On the bottoms of the legs and his paws. I even make his paws white. Things like that. I don't know. Put some black on the nose. Put some white on. A little spot. I think that looks alright, to be fair. That shade of brown on the dogs. A couple more layers of that. A few highlights. I think he'll be okay. I don't want all the dogs the same colour, mind. Like I said, I might do them in various different shades. Right, your skin is dried now. Probably needs another layer. So we'll do that real quick. Touch up. Just a little bit. How is everybody doing today, anyhow? How are we all doing today? I debate what the next job we want to do is. I think we want to tackle his tunic. Get his tunic done and out the way. Oh wait, I do have a pink. I do have. Oh no, because I have a. Hang on, I will be right back. Actually, I'm gonna go grab my effect blood paint, which is what we will use for the inside of the dog's mouth. Alrighty, so this is the paint we're going to be using for the inside of the dog's mouths. We could even make it Scar of the Shire era and put a bit of blood on his scythe. No. No, we don't want that. We don't want that. Right, I think we do his tunic next. So, decision time. Do I want him to have a brown tunic? Or do I want him to have a grey with a... So, brown tunic with grey undershirt, or grey tunic with a brown undershirt? Personally, I don't know. I don't know. I think we go with the grey because we're going to be using a brown wash on it. She'll put some brown shading into it. I think that's the way to go. I think that's the play. I think that's how we do it. Yeah. I think that will look probably the best of those two options. Because we're also going to be, as I said before, we're also doing him with very light brown, but still brown hair, and brown for the scythe. So, and a brown belt as well. So I think that will, I think the grey, I think having grey for his tunic just help make the brown on his belt just pop just that little bit extra, as opposed to just two different shades of brown. Like dark brown and slightly lighter dark brown. As opposed to dark brown and dark grey. I just wanted to make sure I hadn't drowned out the detail with the little buttons. I'll do his little shoulder pads, different colour as well, but just want to get them based at the very least. There's actually a brush on primer that I'm using at the moment. Which is the exact same shade as my grey primer in the spray can. But I'm not a big fan of priming minis in grey, in all honesty. I do see the appeal of it. But I much prefer doing the Xenophile. Or just priming or just priming in black. Or if it's a big model, priming in like in dominant colour if I can. If I can get my hands on a primer of that colour, then I like. If it's a big model that's primarily brown, or green, or what have you. Like if I'm painting a big red dragon or something like that, I'm gonna I will do my best to try and find a red primer and prime using that. Having said that, I have a big red dragon which has been sat on my little work table in my bedroom, waiting to actually be painted for almost a year now. It might even be more than a year at this point, I don't know. But it was one of the first minis that I primed, and I haven't touched him since, because I've been debating what I want to do with him and how best to do it. And the more I look at him, the more I think, I probably want an airbrush for you. It's specifically for those in the know. It's the oh, that don't look too bad, does it? Once we put some brown wash on that tunic, and we'll use rigid leather on the belt, and there's little tassely bits there. I think that will look quite nice. Just a quick close-up look just to make sure that I've actually got full tunic on the first coat. A little bit of white still showing just at the top there, where I've obviously hesitated on it, but it doesn't matter because we haven't done the hair yet. Just the inside of his sleeve. Okay. Just a bit down at the bottom there. Right, cool. Cool. Okay. Now that I can see how that brown is going to look once it's dry, because it's looking at that brown, that looks pretty dry to me. That's one advantage of it being absolutely fucking sweltering in here. They're drying very quickly. The shades won't. The shades will need at least an hour to dry, but actual base coats are drying relatively quickly. I think that looks quite nice. Especially with the pre-existing shadows from the Xenophile. I think that kind of works. Does need another pass on it, but like once we use the black on the mouth, not mouth, little nose, and get some of that red in there with his tongue and the white for the fangs, and actually paint his collar. I don't think that looks too bad. It does look a bit goldy on the stream, but I assure you it doesn't look like that in real life. That's just the light. Okay, moving on. You know what, while that Minotaur hide is still on my palette, it's still usable. Let's do second layer. This one much more watered down. See, this is a problem. Because of the shadow of the phone, it makes it really difficult to see what the fuck I'm doing, even with the ring light. I probably should move the ring light round so it's on the bottom. But the problem there would be, I don't know if I can trust the actual grip. Okay. Do I want all the dogs that colour? No. No, I don't. I want one to be black. I want one to be black with a little bit. I'm gonna fucking hate myself for saying this, but I want one to be black with a bit of white. And I'm going to fucking hate doing that. Because as anyone who's painted white directly onto black knows, oh, it doesn't work. So these are going to need a lot of layers, but out just with a bit of black on the palette. Bit more wilder on thingy, on the brush. Now, I'm thinking this is Fang because he looks a bit like a Fang. I don't know about the other two. I got Grip, Fang, and Wolf. This one's obviously Fang because you know, he's curved like a Fang. I guess that one could be Grip because his little arms, like the way he's got his little paws up in the air like that, it looks like he's gripping something. It looks like he's like gripping the edge of a table, like helping pull himself up. This guy can be Wolf because he looks very proud of himself. Yep, that's the logic we're going with. So I'm thinking we paint Fang in black. Big black dog. Big black scary dog. And keep his paws white. And we'll put like little spots of like brown. And once we've finished this coat, by the time we have, in theory, that second pass on the brown on grip will be done and drying. So then while the black is fresh on the palette, we can get any bits on Fang, on grip that we want black as well. Hey, what? Painting metal minis? Not that bad. Really not that bad. I don't know how well it keeps the paint, but all these will be varnished anyway. Okay. So that is first layer of base coat on him done. As I say, we'll put some little bits here and there. We'll go over his mouth with white because he's got his fangs out. I think a little pink on his nose as well. And fuck doing the eyes because no. I've got it still on my brush. Are you dry? Yeah, you're dry. Just want a little bit. Again, quite thin. Right, I'm not actually going to do this bit on camera because I need to be able to see what the fuck I'm doing here. Do I like the black on the paws? Do I want his nose to be more, skin coloured? No, I'm not a big fan of the black on the paws. No, I think for the paws we'll do a light. No, because it would have to be the same sort of colours as. Let me double check the tutorial. Okay. I see how they've done it. So the way they've done it is they've done it literally like all the way along his back. Black. Like different shades of brown. And white. So we'll try that. We'll try that. We'll see how that goes. What have they done his tail? Oh, his tail is black as well. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I do prefer that. I do quite massively prefer that. That actually doesn't look too bad, I think. We'll clean up that little bit on the paw. That went wrong. But that's fine. But that, I'm quite happy with so far. He looks quite nice. If I do say so myself. I'll fix his collar later. Right. Okay. And we'll do the actual lighter bits on Fang later. Oh, so the one who's up on his hind legs, according to the magazine, is Wolf. Interesting. Now, I prefer our argument of he's gripping something. He's gripping the side of the table to try and put himself up, to try and steal something from the table. Though I think he'd be more behaved. No, I think Farmer Maggot's hounds are a bit more. They're a bit more behaved than that. They're not they're not going to steal from his table, I don't think. How do you look now you've tried? Yeah, that's definitely the way to go, because we'll get a bit more colour on him once we do his belt, his little straps, and his little shoulder pads there. I think we're going to do the hair next on Mr. Maggot. Get his hair all done, and then move on. In fact, we could do his hair and his tunic, like his under tunic, all in one pass. It's just a scythe, little bit of clean up here and there, do a shade, and he's done. Not going to take very long at all, because they're tiny. They're tiny little minis. Because they're hobbits. But I've managed to do, when I did the plastic fellowship the other night, just to work out the colour schemes for them, just so we could get them done quickly. I managed to do Frodo, Sam, Merry and Pippin, not including drying times, all in the space of like half an hour to an hour, give or take. No, again, not counting drying time. I mean, with drying time, it took a day because I had to wait for the shades to dry, and I like to leave the shit. I basically, the way I normally do it is I'll paint a mini in the evening. I'll get it primed during the day, and then I'll have something to eat, and then in the evening I'll do the base coat and the shade, so that way it has time, so that way the shade dries overnight, and then if I care enough about the mini to do some highlighting, I'll do that the following day. Along with doing the base and stuff like that. But I've never really done bases before. The bases for me are usually like at the end of doing the highlighting, I'll paint the bases black and then I'll call it a day. Or in the case of the Marvel Crisis Protocol minis, I'll do them in like a lightish grey called Dungeon Stone. Now, hair, again, is going to be this Attic brown, which is a very sandy brown. Looks like it's quite a nice brown, actually. It's very light brown. I imagine Farmer Maggot has quite sandy hair. Unfortunately, the only bit with him actually on his face on show in the film, middle of fucking night, ain't it? So, because it's when the ringwraiths show up. And unlike in the books, he cowers in fear from them. Whereas in the book, he tells the ringwraith to fuck off. Which is why Farmer Maggot's one of my favourite characters. He's not, like, a Fellowship member. In fact, book-wise, I actually prefer him to some members of the Fellowship. Like, Legolas in the book is not that interested a character. He's not even that interested in the films. Like, Legolas is by far the worst member of the Fellowship. He's a cool character, don't get me wrong. But both books and films aside, he's the least interesting. The best member of the Fellowship is Sam. Best character in Lord of the Rings in general is Sam. I mean, Farmer Maggot is not my favourite non-fellowship character. My favourite non-fellowship character... I'm torn on the two of them. I go back and forth on two in particular, which are Bilbo is an obvious one. But if we're talking strictly like main characters in Lord of the Rings, which Bilbo is not. Bilbo is a side character in Lord of the Rings. Bilbo might be my favourite character in all of Tolkien. It's between Bilbo and Sam, really. I guess Gandalf. Gandalf was my favourite when I was a kid, because cool-ass wizard. He's the reason why whenever I play an RPG, I always try to play a wizard. That, and also, I just look at it as being like, you know, you play as a regular ass dude. Like, you play as a fighter. Like, I hit shit good. Neat. But it gets boring. Unless you're playing like in terms of 5e, unless you're playing like a Battlemaster. Whereas, you play a wizard, you have options. I don't know. I've always liked Gandalf. But I don't know. My opinion. There's not so much my opinion on Gandalf has soured over the years. Like, he's still like top 5 characters, especially in The Hobbit. But it's Sam. It's like my favourite character overall is either Sam or Bilbo. It's not Frodo. But favourite non-fellowship character is either Faramir or Theoden. If we're talking strictly ones that can be argued are like main characters in Lord of the Rings. Because Bilbo is not that. Bilbo's had his turn at that point. He's main character in the Hobbit. Hey, I think that works. I think that hair shade, I think that really works. Led to a little bit of cleanup needed on the tunic, but actually it's on the shoulder pad bit, which we were going to be painting over anyway, so that's not a problem at all. So we'll sort that in a bit as well. I'm thinking we actually use that shade of brown for the lighter bits on Fang as well. Try it. We'll try it at the very least. We'll see how it looks. Oh, the colour that they used is vomit brown. That would be putrid slime actually in my box, I think. And that kind of works. Yeah. Yeah, I know you guys can't see what I'm doing at the moment. I just want to make sure. You know. And it's done right. Right, a little bit of fixing needed on his tail. How far back do they go? Face, not very far. It's mostly on the bottom of his jaw. There we go. I think that look doesn't actually look all that bad. Especially around his mouth. It's a little bit of cleanup needed to do on his tail from that, but I'm quite happy about that. They also did his ears in it, but I will use my fine detail brush for that. Which I will crack out once I move on over to doing Maggot's belt. Right, final doggo. Final doggo to decide on colour scheme. I like both those colour schemes. Do I want him to be black? Or do I want him to be brown? Or do I want to go against the mould? Colour him something else. No, I think... I think we're not gonna make it any real... I think we're just gonna... I'm quite tempted to do it with the brown and black. I kind of prefer the brown and black. As in the dark brown and black on this guy. But that sandy blonde has worked quite well. I might actually change my paint scheme for Sam when we get the metal one and come eventually when he arrives. Hopefully tomorrow, so I can get him them painted on Tuesday. Assuming that the weather is dry enough Because while it's hot, it's a bit stormy. And it's cleared up now, but yeah. I don't know. I'm definitely going to change up my paint scheme for Sam and Mary. I use that shade of brown instead of the blonde I used on them. Just keep the blonde that I used on Legolas because it worked a lot better on Legolas than it did Sam and Mary. I think. It worked on Sam and Mary, but I think that just looks a bit better. That looks a bit more blonde. Well, it looks much more sandy blonde. Right. Decision time. I think the dark brown and black looks better. Don't get me wrong, I like the way this one looks. I think this one just looks a little bit better. So I think we have two ones that are in the better category. Oh, I have one. No one. As opposed to doing a completely new colour scheme. Tempting as that is. I could do him a different shade of brown. I don't know. Is the issue. It's very tempting to do a different shade of brown on this guy. My entire hide is the one we used on him. Hang on. I'll be right back. I need to go grab another drink anyway, but I will go grab another drink and I will also grab I'll grab the Frodo that I painted up because on him I used all three of these browns that I have back here. So I can have a look and see which one might work. Right. So I'll be right back, folks. Don't go anywhere, unless you do, in which case, thank you for stopping by. I won't be long now. Literally 5 minutes, just go grab another drink. Be right back. Oh, okay, I am back. How confusing was it having both audio bits? Because I just realised I left the music running. How long is left on the music? Okay, another 2 hours. That's fine. We will not be streaming by the end of that. Okay. So, I also took the advantage, since I was going to top up my water and the completed menus are by there. I took the opportunity to grab the Frodo that I painted last week. Something went wrong with his face. I don't quite remember what happened there, but I didn't bother highlighting this because, as far as I'm concerned, he's as done as he needs to be. He's not going to get used outside of maybe the scenario, depending on if the metal versions come tomorrow or Tuesday morning. So basically, the reason why I grabbed him is because every single one of these browns is used on this one mini. Between the hair, the coat, the trousers, the jacket, every single one of those browns is used. Also, I can demonstrate my point about the eyes. So, if he had eyes, like, you guys are looking at him far closer than I would be when playing with him. So, and you can't really see it anyway, like, be about there. Like, that's how I'm currently looking at them. That's much closer than how it is when I'm actually playing with them, so... Brr. It's just unnecessary, very, very tricky shit to do. They could potentially ruin the mini, especially when they're so small like this. I also grabbed the paint scheme that I made as well. Because I actually have a paint scheme written up. Oh, sorry. Look at that beautiful handwriting. Ah, look at that. That's done in a rush. So, Frodo's hair. So, his hair is... Also, this also shows how it looks once it's dried with the wash. So, his hair is owlbear brown. His coat is bugbear brown, and his waistcoat is rigid leather. So, I mean, rigid leather we're probably going to be using for the collars. I think we do bugbear brown. Personally. Oh, also I didn't bother to base him properly, I just painted the base black. But, again, he might end up getting used in this scenario that we're prepping for at the moment, in case they don't come by by tomorrow. But after that, that should be the only scenario that this particular one is used for. Again, aside from that, it'll be like weird gimmick games. Like, maybe use him for Scaring of the Shire. I mean, I don't know. Or like if ever do like a Fellowship versus Fellowship game. I don't know. Could do. What did I say? Bugbear brown. Yeah. And in fact, I want this on the palette anyway because this is the colour that we're going to be using for Maggot's safe. I think. What colour did I use for Gandalf's staff? Gandalf's staff. Yep, bugbear brown. I use this one a lot. This is my most used brown. But it's a nice brown. Hence why I use it a lot. I need quite a bit of it. So we're going to do this doggy in it and Maggot's safe. So in fact, I'm going to do Maggot's safe first. Two reasons. Number one, it won't take very long. And number two, we have once it's dry, we will do his waistcoat. Well, not his waistcoat, his undertop shirt thing. And we will also do the head of the scythe as well. Which will be by far the easiest part. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Well, I had the Arctic Brown fresh on the palette. I didn't do the little tufts of hair on his feet. So I was going to say, I could maybe have even done the wash for his skin already. I was like, why didn't I do that? And I was like, oh yeah, because his feet aren't fucking done yet. Because I never did them. I never finished off his feet. And having said that, I do actually need to do another pass at his hair, it looks like. So I will actually do that very quickly while it's still fresh in my brain. And then we'll do the doggo. And I'll also take the opportunity to do the second layer on this one. It should still be usable. Just about. And a flash wash will help clean that up. I just want to do just another little light pass. On his hair. There we go. Okay. Still on the brush, just a very quick second coat. Still good. I definitely need to use this brush. He looks kind of unhappy, this doggo, doesn't he? I keep thinking the camera's here is the problem. Like on the other side of the phone. But the issue was, I originally had it set up like that, but problem with that setup is I can't plug it directly into the computer at that point, so then we're relying on it connecting over Wi-Fi. It was laggy. So just so I don't have to worry about the lag, I do it this way. Alright. Okay. Next job. This doggo. I just hit the bar on the bottom of my desk, and I'm very glad I didn't put more water in that, in my little pot. My little water pot. Because it is right next to the mic. It's probably not the smartest place for me to have it, but oh well. There's nowhere else for me to really put it. It's like easy to reach. I know this is thrilling commentary, isn't it? But it requires a lot of concentration. Actually, the minis are this small. I will bring him back into shot in a moment. I'm just getting all the little under bits that I couldn't quite see while he was under the camera. That looks not bad, to be fair. To be honest, I would quite happily keep him like that. I'm not going to, but I could. Right. So. Next job, I want to do maggots under top, and then we'll break out the fine detail brush and the rigid leather, get the collars done, his belt, and then we'll do metallics. And some white on the dog's teeth. A bit of glistening red in open mouths. And then we'll wash. And then I think that will be the job for the day. And then we'll move over to doing the tier list. So this is why I prefer doing batch painting. Because it doesn't take forever for them to dry. Like, well, I prefer doing batch painting in small batches. Where there's like multiple different colour schemes. I don't like batch painting when it's just paint 1,000 minis blue. Well, it's never 1,000 because fuck doing that in a day. But you know what I mean, like I don't like doing the same colour scheme over and over and over and over and over again. I think it's very tedious. I spent a day about a month ago doing Rohan minis. Just constant browns and greens. Just mixing it up. It's different shades. Yeah, little tufts look quite good. From a distance, like tabletop distance. It's fine. Alright. So, do I need another passover of the grey? I don't think I do, to be fair. Alright. What colour do they have as undertop? They have this undertop, like, grey, don't they? Yeah, it's grey with, like, a brown shirt. It's actually two different shades of grey. Actually, looking at it, it's a darker shade for the undertop and then a lighter shade for his actual thing. Oh, it's like a darkish green. It's like a greyish green. Okay. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I'm thinking we do it in white. I'm thinking either white or blue. Odd choice, I know. But I think like a nice royal blue will really pop. Or brown. Do I want to do it just brown? There's a lot of brown on my Middle-earth minis. Sort of leather. Could even do it in black. I don't think it would be a black. Is that in the field all day? When he's out in the field all day, I think it would have to be... What about Planet Mithril? What colour did Planet Mithril do his? Once the advert finishes, I will check. Yeah, he's done it in like a blue as well. I do quite like it with the blue. I'm a fan of the blue. If I'm being completely honest, I quite like it with the blue. It's quite a nice blue that he's used. I think a dark blue. I like it. I prefer it to just grey and brown. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna go grab a blue. I will be back. Okie dokie. Right. So we have a lich blue, which is a nice dark blue that I do quite like. I've used this one a few times. I actually think I might have used this one on Gandalf. No, I did not. The one I used on Gandalf was slightly lighter than that. What's the way I used for this one then? I actually don't remember. I definitely have used it. Oh, I remember what I used this for. I used it for a vampire robes. It's 100% not Strad. It's quite thin, but I probably should have swapped out for a slightly smaller brush as well, but it's fine because we can always just fix that little bit on his knuckle anyway. I think we need another pass over on the hands anyhow, but I think that looks quite nice. If you ask me. Just need to fix a little bit on the shaft of this scythe, but all in all, I think that works. I think that works quite nicely. I think a brown on the trousers. Yeah. He's not wearing a one piece underneath it. But I think that blue looks quite nice. Right. Break out the white. We're going to need the extra fine detail brush on this one as well, because this white we're going to be using to do his teeth. Just want to see how it looks in the scheme. Yeah, that looks much better than with the black. Doesn't look amazing, but it looks better than with the black paws. I probably should have Googled how these sorts of dogs looked, shouldn't I? I'm quite happy to say that darker brown one, I'm quite happy to say he's done. To be honest. Like, another coat, definitely, but I'm quite happy with him. No, I've changed my mind about the white. I don't like it. I don't like the white on the paws. I've changed my mind about it. I do need to do one thing on him, which is I need the pinky red. Now this one, this paint does look very weird when it's on the palette and when it's wet, but it does dry quite nice. I'm going to want an extra fine detail. I want a smaller brush. You. Okay. Yeah, I definitely don't like that white. Let's pause. No, the other dogs have their mouths open, do they? No. No, we just want the fine detail while on full white, which I'm actually going to get an even smaller brush for this. Well, the white's on my palette. Where is my extra fine? I don't seem to have it here. Should be in here. Ah! There he is. Stuck right in the corner. Right. And then this we're going to use to very carefully do the teeth. Not sure how well that's worked, to be perfectly honest, but you still need a little bit more time for your mouth to dry. You can have your teeth done. Do I want to do another part? Actually, I want to do another coat of the brown on this guy first. Just so that way we don't ruin the teeth. And come back to do second layer. Where is that brown? There it is. Here's a question. Do we want this brown on Maggot's trousers? Because I don't think we do. This time it's very thinned. Some water. Also just noticed their little tags on their collars. It's a very cute little detail. It's very thin. There's multiple thin layers of this brown. I'm just going to coat him entirely in it. And we'll do a little bit of pink on his, around his nose and mouth area. A little bit in his ears. Okay. Speaking of which, when we've got the extra fine detail brush out, just going to pop a little bit just Uttier brown in Fang's ear. Just to help his ears stand out just a little bit. That looks better. Let's tidy up the bits around his paws. This is fine, I just need to do a little bit more black on that tail. Just to tidy it up. But yeah. I'm going to paint his paws back to being Minotaur hide brown. we're getting there. It's taking longer than I thought. But it's mostly just like debating about colour schemes for the doggos. In Maggot himself. How does that blue look now that it's dry? Oh yeah, that looks nice. I like that blue. Yeah. Its trousers will do in brown, I think. So actually, well, it's on the palette. Because we need to do a little tidy up of his scythe. Anyway. I think that looks better than doing it all in blue. Like I said, just do a little touch up. This scythe where we accidentally got it with blue before. And then we'll do all the leather bits with the extra fine detail brush. And we'll do his scythe once we've done said leather bits. Like the actual blade of his scythe. Once we've done all the metal bits. Sorry, once we've done the leather bits. Because then we'll do, while it's on the brush, we'll also just do a little tap around, a couple little taps around the collars for the little spikes and the chain. Because I noticed while I was doing Mr. Wolf. Oh, you don't have one? Is it just Wolf that has one? It might be just Wolf that has one. I can't see one on Grip or Fang. But Wolf actually has a little... I don't know how well you guys can see it. He has a little tag on the bottom of his collar. So we'll do that with the metallic as well. But we'll do that when we've got all the spikes. Hello, babe. How are you? I am sorting out the minis for our game. We have our 3 doggos. And we also have Mr. Maggot himself. Who's not... They're not quite done yet. It's very hot. It's very hot. I've got the fan going full blast. I don't know if you can hear it. They're about... I'll say... They're about 90% of the way there. I'd say. Personally. I do want, actually, it's reusable. No, that skin colour is dry. We learn it by tapping it. If our finger goes squish into it, it's still usable. But now that's completely solidified. And I'm not surprised considering that was the first colour we put on the palette earlier. I want just a little bit of it, because I'm going to just pop a little bit of this on Wolf's nose. Again, I think this is Wolf. Oh, sure. It's not exactly clear which dog's a which. They're saying this one's Fang because he looks like a fang. This one's Grip because he's got his paws up like this. Yeah, the way Luna and Bella do on their little cage. So it looks like he's gripping something. And this guy is Wolf because he's like, you know, he's looks like he's stood on a rock. You can all get out of his field. Like, yes, I am a wolf. Hydrate. I will sort that in just a moment. I actually need that. Just want to do this quick job on Wolfie. Just a little dab of skin colour just on his face, around his snout area. So he's slightly more pit bully. I can hear an owl. I can't tell if it's on the music or outside. Also, if the music is too loud, let me know. It would have been too loud for the entire stream, but let me know. Right, I will do that hydrate now. I assure you, I have hydrated. I know you can't see me but I have done it. Alright. I definitely don't like the white on his paws. So I definitely want to put them back to being brown. I definitely want them as Minotaur hide again. That was definitely just the wrong option. The music is very quiet. It's fine. The music's just there just to fill the inevitable silences. I can turn the music up a little bit if you want. As long as it doesn't drown me out. That's the important thing. Just turn that up a little bit. Is that better? Let me know. In the meantime, I am going to fix this little doggy's paws. I can confirm the owl I can hear is in the music. Because it's all of a sudden a bit louder. So I would have put on Lord of the Rings music. But Twitch won't let me. But that's not a problem. This music is fine. Right, there we go. That looks much better. That looks much better like that. Where the hell did I think it needed different colour? Let's pause. Silly decision on my part. Silly decision. Just putting more work in for myself. But, yeah, you never know unless you try. Right, I think we are now on to doing the bits of leather. So that is the collars on the doggos, Farmer Maggot's belt, his little cross-stitch bits at the top of his tunic. And then it's just a matter of putting the metallics in. So that is the blade of his scythe, few little dots on the collars for like the little spikes that he's got on them. and then put in wash, which for the most part will be brown wash. Bit of light skin wash on Maggot's face, hands and feet, and then just brown across the rest of the minis. And then the only jobs left to do, which will be once that is dried, will be paint the bases black and then do a little bit of basing for them, which I will do off stream tomorrow once the washes have had time to dry. So, yeah, let's do that. And then it's 3:30 now, so that shouldn't take very long. Because while I wait for I can do the collars first. While I wait for them to dry, I'll do Maggot's belt and his little cross-stitchy thing. And then by the time I've done that and the head of the scythe, the collars should have fully dried. I could even wash Maggot then after that. No, I'll need to wait for the scythe to dry. Okay. Rigid leather time. I love this brown. This and owlbear brown is by far the... not owlbear brown, bugbear brown are by far the most common browns I use out of my little sets that I have. In fact, you can actually see a bit of this rigid leather there. From when I did the Fellowship. Because every single member of the Fellowship has this on, hence why there's quite a bit of it there. Because all of them have like belts and waistcoats and stuff. Aragorn is like the Aragorn mini that I have, an Aragorn paint scheme that I will be using when I get when the metal one arrives. I do that on stream in a couple of months and get to when Aragorn starts showing up in the games. That paint scheme that I use for him is like 90% this colour. Because it's his entire undercoat. Unfortunately, it is kind of difficult to tell a lot of people are probably thinking, why aren't you using a paint handle? At this point, the answer is, I had a look before the stream, and I don't really have anything to use for one at the moment, outside of the very shit Citadel one, which I don't like using. I much prefer using little blocks of wood. Get the collars done first. A little bit more on my brush. The issue is, I can't do this one while under the camera, so you're just gonna have to assume, you're just gonna have to wait for it that this is working. And you guys will see. Final result. once it's done. This fucker's a problem child. See when it comes. There we go. Can't really see it because it's a bit out of focus, but there you go. And by the time I've done Maggot's belt and his little tassely bit, these collars will have dried, and then I can put the metallic bits on them. I also need to do Grip's teeth over here. That isn't a problem. I think I actually missed a little bit while I was cleaning Grip. I think I missed a bit on the top, which is making it a bit awkward. But that's all their collars done. At least leather-wise. Just a matter of putting the metallics on. And now, Maggot, which I'm sure he would very much appreciate being called. I think it's alright. A little bit of cleanup need doing. Right. Again, gonna have to do the little tassely bits off camera because this is a pretty tricky little bit. Cock up. There's just a few little dabs, but I mean, yeah, didn't go quite 100%, right? But it's close enough. It's close enough. I'm a very lazy mini painter, to be perfectly honest. So, like, I don't go into extreme amounts of detail on them, if I can help it. Sometimes I do. It depends on the character, really. Like I said, I don't bother doing the eyes, so that should be a sign of how this I really. Well, I'm not going to say I don't give a fuck. I like them to look good, but I like them to look good from a tabletop perspective. From perspective of, you know, looking at them on the table. I've actually been going for 3 hours. This has actually been a lot longer than I planned on it being. I was expecting to be done by now, but hour. A lot of decision making in terms of the colour schemes on the dogs. A lot of the later minis won't be like that. Right. Well, it's on my mind. Before this white fully dries out. There you go. It doesn't look amazing up close, but you know, it looks like he's got teeth now. Did I do your teeth? No, I did not. Well, it's on the brush. And then when we put the brown wash on, that will actually darken it quite a bit and slightly yellow it as well. Right! Last job in terms of doing the actual painting side is the metallics. So again, we're looking at Maggot's, the blade of Maggot's scythe, a few little dabs around the collars just to add just a little bit extra to them. We might not actually get round to doing tier list. I'll tell you which ones I am excited to paint up, which is the Nazgul. That will be a 5-minute stream. Because that is just... Do you have black primer? Cool, use that. Add some metallics. Maybe dry brush a bit of grey or brown around the edge. Like a little bit of grey on the raised bits of the cloaks, and maybe a bit of brown on the bottoms of the cloaks, depending on what effect you want. Have you done that? Cool. Black wash, you're done. So that won't take very long at all. This is like, well, there's 9 of them. I love metallic paints. They're so cool. They're just magic. I know it's like there's stuff in them that adds like a there's like little bits of metal or something mixed into the paint, which is why they can fuck up your brush if they dry out on it. Which I think is what's happened to this brush. But I just love them. Cool. I am quite happy to say, Farmer Maggot there, wash and highlights aside, I'm quite happy to call him done. Again, that's what, 2 hours work? Including dry time? And that's also while doing the dogs as well. Like, if we weren't doing the dogs at the same time, and we're just waiting for him to dry, I reckon we could have got him done like half an hour. If even that. And there was also a lot of debate, debating what scheme to do for him as well. I'm actually not gonna. I will actually write down what I've done in terms of paint scheme, and like that'll go into like the YouTube description. Oh, also, hi YouTube. This entire thing is going up completely unedited on YouTube. And in time, there will be a video for every single issue of Middle Earth Strategy, the old magazine. I'm just not doing them in order. I'm doing them essentially in order that I need them for the campaign, and then there'll be a few extra ones at the end. I might not do an episode for some minis, like some of the more niche minis that aren't really used, like Grand Bulligan. I know he has an issue because I'm pretty sure he's the issue before Farmer Maggot. I probably won't do him on stream because that means I have to track down a Grand Bulligan. I also just looking at his stat line, it's like I probably will never use you outside of narrative scenarios, and he's only needed for one narrative scenario, which is one that I'm not doing for this campaign because it's one where there's no members of the Fellowship. Essentially, if there's no members of the Fellowship and it's not an important battle, I'm not doing it. And I say, and basically, the only ones that aren't involving members of the Fellowship are ones from the Pelennor. There we go. Just realised this one. Okay. You know what I should have done? Found out some way of making the webcam angle work. So that way you folks will be able to see at least vaguely what I'm doing in situations like this. But that is all the metallics done. There's a little bit, I've just noticed, of silver that got onto Grip's leg. But I don't think there's that much in general that's really noticeable, at the very least. What little bits there are, it kind of works as like a little bit of reflection, but that just kind of stands out quite badly. So I will go over that once it's dry, And in the meantime, I'm going to apply Flesh Wash to Farmer Maggot, which should give the metallics time to dry. And then once that's done, clean him up, wash those two, by which point the little bit of monitor hide that I'm going to use to clean up that little bit of silver on his leg will have dried, and then we'll wash the other two doggies, and then I might do tier list. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I thought this was only going to take like 2 hours, but it's taken a fair bit longer than that. Soft. Just 2 drops. We don't need loads. I actually have... Oh wait, no. I don't use that brush for washes anymore. It's become PVA glue brush, which is my original brush. I'm just going to use this one. Just a little bit more. Want it wet, but not too wet. I love this! I love washes. I love doing shading. This is where the magic happens. Just want a very thin wash. On all the bits of his skin. So again, his face, hands, and his feet. Just gotta be very careful not to get too much, if we can help it. And the scythe. I think that's kind of unavoidable. It's got to be difficult to get the brown wash on his scythe without hitting him. And there's a bit on his feet. And this is the reason why I don't paint the base until after, because inevitably when you apply the wash to the feet or shoes, a little bit more on his face. I think we just want a teeny bit more. His face. Not too much, we don't want it too dark. And if it does, if we do put too much on, just clean the brush. Just tap it away. That is the skin done on him. While it is in my brain, probably going to need a fresh drop. Yeah, that was definitely needed. Minotaur hide. We're just going to clean that up. That little bit of silver we got on Grip's feet. Cool. And then we're going to put brown wash on everything except the top of Farmer Maggot's scythe, for which we want a dark wash, which I am actually going to go get because I just realised I left it in the box. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So, the reason why we want a darker wash than the brown wash for the scythe blade is simply because the brown wash, it works sometimes, but as you can see on Frodo Mini, that is a metallic that's been washed with brown shade. It looks nice, don't get me wrong, but it just gives a little bit too much of a rusted look to it than I would like, really. But considering how I'm kind of envisioning it as this, this is very clearly supposed to be Sting, you can tell by the shape of the hilt, but I'm kind of envisioning this as being the barrow blade. So it kind of works, it being a bit rusty. It's a barrow knife, isn't it? Not a barrow blade. Barrow blade would be the long version. Alright, so we want the brown wash. I actually need to replace this brown wash. It's running very thin. We're going to need a lot of this one. And this is going to go all over the dogs, all over his clothes, up the haft of his scythe, and then the actual blade of the scythe is going to get the shadow wash. This I don't mind going on the metallics on the dogs, because I'm mostly interested in it working its magic on the actual collar. Way too much on the head. That last stab was a bit thick for a little bit that I want, but it's fine because we can push it over. To the other side and front of his face. Just want to make sure any large areas, again, they're quite flat, especially you. It's very flat, Mini. Over the washes, just want to make sure that I pull in the recesses, not on the flat surfaces. I just like doing the washes. This is my favourite part of painting minis. I never tidied up your tail, did I? Bugger. Like, I just think washes are magic, to be perfectly honest. Again, just make sure pulls in the recesses and around the nose, bottom of the feet, in his ears, where his eyes should be. You done? Farmer Maggot. And you can already see it's already done a lot for Farmer Maggot. Just the flesh wash, that's actually dried pretty quickly. Like I said, the advantages of doing this when it's fucking 20 degrees outside. So we want to get a lot in around his hair. Just want to make sure it doesn't darken it too much. Just want. I still think that his face might have been darkened a bit too much for what I wanted, but it does kind of work. It does look like he's been out working in the sun. I've also just noticed I've never painted his shoulders. But to be honest, I don't really think I need to. See how it looks. This is dried. I've put a little bit more of the wash on. So it actually pulls. Pulls there. And then, next plan for these guys is either, once they finish drying obviously on the shade, will be to paint the base, paint the rim of the base black. That's for definite. And then the actual top of the base, I'm thinking I might paint brown instead of black. Just give it a slightly earthier feel. Again, he's quite a flat mini, so I just want to hit just little tufts of hair right on his feet there, just so they don't go too pink. a little bit more in his hair. Okay, I don't want his hair too dark. I just want to make sure I don't lose a really nice detail on his curls. This is a very nice mini. For a mini that's 20 fucking years old, and quite a small one at that, it is an extremely well detailed mini. For such a simple character, it's a very nice mini of him. I really like that mini. That is up there with some of my favourite minis that I own. And then final job for the wash. But I'm not going to do the base until the washes have dried. Simply because when I'm painting the bases, I hold them by the minis. This one's going to be a right pain in the ass, because this one is an extremely flat mini. Get some in that mouth. Not too much, just some. Just want to make sure I get it both sides. But there we go. Okay. And then the final job that we're going to do on these today. Like I said, I want a dark wash on the head of the actual blade of Farmer Maggot's scythe, just so that it doesn't dry with a rusty effect, which works for some models, but I don't want it on you. Because Farmer Maggot is definitely the sort of person who would take very good care of his farming equipment. Again, don't need much. Just a little bit, again, just so we get the really nice detail on that scythe. And then base-wise, what I'm thinking for them, as I said, rim in black, because that's just what I do in my minis. I always paint the rims of the bases in black. And then the actual top of the base in either black or dark brown. Probably dark brown, just to give it a bit of an earthy look. And then take that, stick some flock on it, some grass, and maybe a few like little flowers here and there, and then that will be them done. I'm not going to do the highlights or the bases on stream, because that'll just be going back over bits with the colours that I've already put on them, and then doing the bases. But I'll post finished pictures of them on Instagram, so I will probably do that tomorrow at some point. So yeah, that took a lot longer than I thought it would. Again, Very simple models. Very, very, very simple minis once we actually decided on a colour scheme for them. But that was the main issue. The fact that is deciding on the colour scheme for them. I don't really have pictures of them from the films, and I'm not a big fan of the suggested colour schemes for them from the books and the box. Because it's the same. I'm actually going to jump over to the webcam. Alright, well, hello YouTube, I guess. To people who've watched through the last 3 hours of this archive. I don't actually have a, like, turntable thing. I am looking to get one. That's the next thing on the list of stuff that I actually need for all this stuff. But I thought I'd give you guys a quick look at the finished product of this video. It's been a couple weeks since the stream, so much so that we've actually played the scenario that Farmer Maggot and his dogs are needed for in Quest of Ringbearer. That being Farmer Maggot's crop. Farmer Maggot 1 being controlled by me. So yes. I don't think I've actually seen, in all the people who I've watched do the campaign, I don't think I've ever seen the Fellowship actually win Farmer Maggot's crop. So also you guys can see my keyboard because this is done on the fly. Anyway, so end results. We have Farmer Maggot himself, all based, shaded. I did a tiny little bit of highlighting on him, not much admittedly, but I'm quite happy with him, to be fair. Looks quite good. Looks very, very, very nice. I like him. I like this gentleman. We have, I believe I said this one was Wolf. Pretty sure I said that this one was Wolf. The basing originally didn't quite work. The basing has been done with a whole load of PVA glue on the base and then dipped in the special green stuff. Well, rim of the base painted black, as you folks can see. The actual top of the base itself, which is the same on Farmer Maggot, has been painted brown, same brown as this little puppy, and then layer of PVA glue on that, dipped in, I forget what brand it is. It's essentially model railway grass, so that works absolutely fine. It might be woodland scenic grass, or it's Hornby. It's one of the two. I don't remember. But the point is, stepped in that, and then another layer of PVA on the top, just to hold it together. Hence why it's a little bit shiny. But yeah. We tried it without the PVA on the top, and it just fell off. And then the actual shrubs, Army Painter, meadow shrubs, I believe is the actual name for them. Speaking of which, we have another meadow shrub on grip. Again, not much highlighting on these dogs or Farmer Maggot himself, just because they're such small minis. There's so little. There's detail in them. Don't get me wrong, but there's so little detail. It doesn't overly matter. They put them on the table. It's enough. Gets the point across. So, I personally find that with these small minis, you don't need insane amounts of work in terms of highlighting. A little bit just to bring some of the colours out, but since they were very brown minis anyway, doesn't really matter. And since I don't bother doing like the eyes or anything like that on my minis in the first place, then meh. If you want detail like that, go watch someone else. And then we have Fang himself. Again, same sort of idea. I did do a little bit of highlighting, just bringing some more colour into his ears, which you guys can't actually see very well, but yeah, it's to help bring the shadows on his ear flaps out. There was just a little bit of cleanup needed around like his tail area and stuff like that. Most of that was covered by the shrubs. But yeah, so that's the end result of them. I will definitely be using these minis more, because you know, the dog's perfect for D&D dogs. Farmer Maggot himself is perfect for like a little hobbit, halfling villager character in a D&D campaign, and obviously as Farmer Maggot, Fang and Wolf in the actual Middle-earth strategy battle game itself. If I ever actually bother to play Shire, and when I play for the campaign again, because you better believe I'm going to. Anyway, yeah, so the Hobbits stream should be up some point over the next couple of days. And yeah,